I wasn't broke. I had a job, a car, even a 401k. But every Sunday night, I felt like I was drowning with my eyes open. There was this quiet panic inside me, like I was running full speed on a treadmill going nowhere. I wasn't failing, but I wasn't free either. That's when I came across a single line in a book that snapped me awake. Your life today is a reflection of the tiny habits you've tolerated for years. It hit me hard. I didn't need to flip my life upside down. I just needed to fix what I was repeating without even realizing it. What followed wasn't a life overhaul. It was a series of micro-habits, quiet shifts that looked insignificant at first. But like compound interest, they grew. They transformed how I think, how I move, and eventually, how I build wealth. Here are the first 3 tiny habits that rewired my mindset and made every financial breakthrough after that possible. Habit number 1. I stopped starting my day in reaction mode. Most people wake up and instantly give their brain away to the world. Emails, texts, Instagram scrolls, news alerts. I used to do that too. Until I realized, the first 5 minutes of your day decide the tone of your day. So I flipped the script. Now, I start with silence. No phone. Just 5 minutes of sitting, breathing, and asking, what kind of person do I want to be today? Not, what do I have to do? Not, what do people expect of me? But who I want to be. That pause has saved me from 100 bad decisions and reset my focus more times than I can count. Habit number 2. I rewrote my circle without cutting anyone off. You've heard it, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But what if your environment isn't full of winners? Mine wasn't either. So I built a new mental environment using books, podcasts, and YouTube. I gave myself a daily dose of thinkers like Naval Ravikant, Jim Rohn, and Morgan Housel. It was 15 minutes a day. That's it. But over time, it rewired my mindset. I stopped thinking small. I started acting like the future version of me. And somehow, that version started attracting real people who matched that energy. The upgrade happened before I ever left my living room. Habit number 3. I built a proof I can do hard things folder. Every time I did something that scared me, recorded a video, negotiated a contract, pitched a product, I wrote it down. I captured what scared me, what actually happened, what I learned. Over time, it became a personal archive of evidence. Not motivation, proof. When I feel stuck or afraid now, I don't look for a pep talk. I open that folder and remind myself, I've done harder things than this. These 3 habits didn't make me rich overnight. They did something more important. They made me someone who could handle success when it came. In the next part, I'll show you how these mindset shifts laid the foundation for my money system and the 2 automations that changed my financial life forever. I used to think getting rich meant doing more, hustling harder, working longer, skipping sleep and weekends. But wealthy people, they don't just work harder. They build systems that keep working even when they're not. That was a mind-bending shift for me, because I spent years believing the only way to get ahead was to trade more time for money. The problem? Time is limited. Systems are not. Here are 4 money habits, systems, that started quietly, but now run silently in the background, building wealth while I sleep. Habit number 4. Automate your saving and investing. Before I automated my money, I was winging it. One month, I impulse bought a $600 designer jacket. I told myself it was an investment piece. The next week, I was $40 short on rent. That was the wake-up call. I realized I wasn't bad with money. I just hadn't given it a system. So I set up automation. Now, every month, a fixed amount gets transferred to my savings account right after payday. Another goes to my investment accounts, mostly low-fee index funds and a Roth IRA. I only spend what's left. I don't try to save or invest anymore. I just let the system run. I call it invisible wealth building. No decisions. No discipline. Just results. Habit number 5. Get radically specific with your goals. For years, I'd write goals like make more money or save for the future. And nothing ever changed. Then I learned a truth that slapped me awake. Vague goals create vague behavior. So I got specific. Instead of saying, "I want to save money," I wrote, "I will save $30,000 for a down payment by December 2026. It changed everything. Once the target was clear, I broke it down. $1,000 per month. $250 per week. Suddenly, it wasn't a dream, it was a math problem. The more specific your goals, the more automatic your motivation becomes. Habit number 6. Audit your 3 spending buckets. I used to hate the word budget. It felt like a punishment, like I had to starve today just to feel safe tomorrow. But then I reframed everything. Instead of budgets, I use buckets. 1. Fundamentals, rent, groceries, utilities. 2. Fun, restaurants, Netflix, travel. 3. Future, courses, books, investments. Each month, I do a quick audit. Not to feel guilty, to stay intentional. Are my spending patterns reflecting the life I say I want? Or just the habits I haven't questioned? Once I started tracking this way, I felt empowered, not restricted. I knew where every dollar went. And when you know, you own your decisions. Habit number 7. Learn one new thing about money each week. Money is a language. And I was financially illiterate for most of my life. So I created a habit I call the Wealth Hour. 1 hour a week, every Sunday, I learn something new about money. Sometimes I read about tax hacks. Sometimes I deep dive into how inflation works. Other times, I watch YouTube breakdowns of how ETFs actually perform. It's small, but consistent. And over time, that consistency built confidence. You won't become wealthy overnight. But if you give money just 1 focused hour a week, you'll never be poor again. And the best part? You don't need to be a finance nerd to do any of this. You just need to start. Automate, track, learn, repeat. These 4 money systems didn't just change my finances. They changed my relationship with money. From stress and avoidance to calm and control. In the next part, I'll walk you through how I went from one income stream to multiple streams flowing in quietly, without hustle culture, burnout, or giving up my weekends. In part 2, I showed you the systems. But systems don't work without the right mindset. And mindset means action. Repeated. Boring. Powerful. Action. Most people think wealth is a destination. It's not. It's a rhythm. A way of being. You don't get rich from one big win. You get there by showing up with intention over and over again, especially when no one's watching. Here are 5 habits that helped me stop fantasizing about wealth and start moving like someone who's building it every single day. Habit number 8. Invest in yourself first. You are your greatest asset. But for the longest time, I treated myself like a liability. I'd spend $500 on a new phone, but hesitate over a $99 course. I'd subscribe to 4 streaming platforms, but feel guilty buying a book. That changed when I realized nothing compounds faster than your own growth. Now, I budget for personal growth like it's rent. Books, courses, mentors, therapy, a gym membership, anything that makes me sharper, stronger, more resilient. Because when you get better, everything else follows. Habit number 9. Build multiple income streams, one at a time. Most millionaires have 3+ income streams. But don't fall into the trap I did, trying to launch everything at once. At one point, I was juggling freelance writing, a YouTube channel, a newsletter, 2 courses, and still working full-time. Guess what? I burned out. Hard. So I asked myself one simple question. What skill do I already have that someone will pay for? I picked writing. Focused on freelancing. 1 client, then 2. Then I packaged that into a digital product. Then came affiliate income. Then investing. Step by step. Layer by layer. Habit number 10. Simplify your decisions. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, not because he didn't care, but because he did. Every choice costs mental energy, and decision fatigue is real. So I started simplifying. A same breakfast every day. A capsule wardrobe for work. A daily workflow template I barely tweak. It freed up mental bandwidth. Suddenly, I had more space to make real decisions about money, health, relationships, without feeling constantly drained. Habit number 11. Take action before you feel ready. Here's the truth. You'll never feel ready. That voice in your head. It's not going away. And that's okay. I remember sitting in my car for 20 minutes before going live for the first time. My palms were sweating. I nearly talked myself out of it. But I hit start anyway. Voice shaking. Heart racing. That live stream didn't change the world. But it changed me. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. Habit number 12. Follow the 1% progress rule. Massive progress is sexy, but it's not sustainable. So I gave myself a new goal. Just 1% better. Every week. That could mean canceling a pointless subscription, sending one pitch email, negotiating one bill, reading one chapter on investing. 1% seems small until it isn't. Week after week, it stacks. You wake up 1 year later, and you don't recognize the person staring back at you in the best way possible. Wealth isn't built in a weekend, but it is built weekend by weekend, through small, quiet, deliberate choices that most people overlook. In the next part, I'll show you how I protect what I've built, because growing wealth is only half the equation. Keeping it, that's where the real power begins. Wealth doesn't grow in isolation. It grows through connection. In my early 20s, I thought I had to do it all myself. Build the business. Learn every skill. Make every decision solo. But the truth hit me later, and hard. You can hustle alone for years, or you can ask the right person one question and collapse that timeline in half. Relationships are more than just networking. They're shortcuts to wisdom, doors to opportunity, and mirrors that show you who you could become. Here are the 2 habits that changed how I connect, and how those connections have changed everything else. Habit number 13. Network with intent, not convenience. For years, my network was accidental. People I worked with, hung out with, sat next to at events. They were nice, supportive, but not always aligned with the future I was trying to build. Then one day, a mentor told me, "Your results will always reflect the quality of the conversations you're having." So I made a shift. Every month, I reached out to 2 to 3 people I admired, online creators, business owners, thinkers. Sometimes I asked for a coffee chat. Sometimes I just sent a thank you message with a specific insight I learned from their work. And here's the magic. People respond to genuine curiosity. They can smell the difference between "what can I get from you?" and "I see you. I value what you do." One of those messages turned into a phone call. That call turned into a collaboration. That collaboration led to 5 figures in income. Not because I pitched hard, but because I showed up with intention and value. Habit number 14. Ask better questions, especially about money. You know what's weird? We'll ask our friends for Netflix recommendations or skincare routines, but not how they budget, invest, or handle money in their relationships. And yet, 66% of Americans say open conversations about money are key to achieving financial freedom. But 45% say they avoid those talks entirely. I used to be part of that 45%. Until I realized, staying silent doesn't protect you. It delays your progress. So I started asking, casually, authentically, questions like, "What's one money decision you made that changed everything?" "Have you ever worked with a financial advisor?" "Worth it?" "How do you think about investing right now?" Not everyone wanted to go deep, and that's okay. But the ones who did gave me insights that I couldn't have Googled. Wisdom that came from real life. Opportunities don't just show up. They come through people. And people open up through trust, intention, and curiosity. In the next part, I'll show you how I protect what I've built, because once you have momentum, your job isn't just to grow, it's to guard. If you've made it this far, you're not just interested in money. You're interested in keeping it. And that's where the game changes. Because anyone can get lucky once. A viral product. A big bonus. A good year in crypto. But wealth that stays. That lasts. That builds freedom instead of just feeding lifestyle inflation. That kind of wealth needs defense. Offense builds income. Defense builds legacy. Let me walk you through the 4 habits I've built to protect what I've earned, financially, emotionally, and mentally. Habit number 15. Set boundaries around your energy. Money isn't your only resource. Your energy, your focus, is just as valuable. In my early days, I said yes to every meeting, every client, every request. I was burning out fast. Until a mentor told me, if you don't protect your energy, your money will never be enough to fix the damage. Now, I time block my calendar ruthlessly. No calls before 10 a.m. No meetings without agendas. And every Friday is a no-obligation day, only deep work or rest. Protecting your focus is protecting your wealth. Habit number 16. Separate lifestyle from income. When I got my first big check from a client, I wanted to celebrate. I almost booked a flight to Italy. But I stopped. Not because I don't believe in enjoying money, but because I realized this. If your lifestyle rises every time your income does, you'll never feel rich. You'll just feel busier. So I made a rule. Every time my income jumps, I save and invest first, then upgrade later. Maybe. That way, I don't just earn more. I own more. Habit number 17. Build a wealth defense layer. I used to think protection meant insurance. And yeah, insurance matters. But your real defense system, its structure. A separate LLC for business income. Or an emergency fund that covers 6 months. A no emotions allowed investment plan. A clear agreements in partnerships. A systems that work without me. That's what gives me peace. Because when the economy wobbles, or life throws a punch, I don't panic. I pivot. And that's what true wealth gives you. The ability to respond, not react. Let's bring it all together. You've now seen all 17 habits, each one tiny, but powerful. Mindset, how I reset my thinking to escape survival mode. Systems, how I automated my money to grow on autopilot. Action, how I moved, even when I didn't feel ready. Connection, how I built relationships that opened doors. Defense, how I protect everything I'm building. These aren't flashy, but they're real. And over time, they stack into something unshakable. Now I want to hear from you. Which habit are you going to start today? Drop it in the comments. Seriously, don't just watch this passively, claim your shift. And if this series opened your eyes or gave you momentum, share it with one person you care about. Someone who's stuck. Someone who needs that first habit to get moving again. Because the truth is, most people won't hear this in school, or from their parents, or even their friends. So be the reason they do. What's next? If you're ready to go beyond habits, and actually start building your second income stream, if this hit home, like the video, drop a comment below, and hit subscribe, more's coming.